guys have done a pretty good job of seemingly blocking out all the noise. You know, the rankings coming out tonight, college football playoff, that noise is only going to intensify. I guess, does the approach change for you guys at all in terms of blocking that up?
Not really. I mean, we get a lot of messages and things said about us on the internet. It's been happening ever since I've been playing. I mean, regardless win or lose, you're always gonna have something said about you, but you just got to keep your mind focused on the task at hand, which for us is winning a championship.
What have you seen from Texas Tech's defense?
They have a really good group. I think number 19. I'm not sure of his name. He's a really good player, and they've improved from last year. So they also have Coach Fitch, who I've been with for 4 or 5 years. So it's going to be a fight. He knows our tendencies, so just gotta watch more film. Do the right things.
Talk about what kind of was asking Dylan about just Kendra, what you've seen in his development and just what he's doing for you guys right now.
Yeah, he's definitely gotten more confident over the years. I mean, we had Zach last year, who's a great running back. Both of them were super great, but I feel like he was a little in that shadow, and that's not knocking towards anything he did, but both of them were really good, and it's hard to just pick one. But again, like he said, when Zach hit the transfer portal, he's doing really good at Ole Miss. But when he hit the transfer portal, that sense of I'm next, comes up. I've felt that, when a lot of the seniors graduated when I was at junior, sophomore. So it's just something that comes, with having the right mindset about being who you want to be as a player. And I feel like that hit him, come in January, I think. So, he's doing a really good job of, controlling his emotions and staying focused at practice. So that's a good thing to see as offensive lineman.
I mean, he's averaging 6 to 7 yards per carry. I mean, that has a lot to do with you guys. That has a lot to do with him as well. What allows him to do that?
I don't know. It's just he doesn't go down sometimes, and it's just insane to see. He'll spin out of tackles, and he'll keep his balance and get an extra 2 or 3 yards. But in terms of how many yards I guess per carry he gets. I honestly thought we're just playing football. It's just something to us. We see it after the game. We're like, oh shoot, it kind of got a lot of yards. But yeah, that's just a nod towards him. He's really good running back. We're glad to have him.
For you personally, you moved from pretty much being center full time last year to left guard this year. What was that shift like for you? And now that you're 8 games in, what have you learned about your game?
So it was a big shift for me. I mean, I played right guard last year. I think I played a game. But it's a lot of the same thing. My freshman year, I played tackle the whole year, and Lucas Nye took me under his wing, and it's a lot of the same things. And that's what I realized when I had moved over. But really, one of the things that I had to focus on was just the positioning at being at left, because I was always at right. So being at left was a little different for me. But as the season has gone on, I can tell that I have gotten better almost every game. That's not saying that I'm the best that I can be, because I know I'm not. I have a lot of things I have to work on myself. So yeah.
Things have been going really great for you guys offensively. The numbers speak for themselves. Is there anything in the area you feel like you want the office kind of focus on improving on during the stretch run?
Say it one more time. Any areas we think we can improve on?
During the stretch run?
It's really just a mental game for us now. I mean, we know we have the guys. We have the guys to get the job done. I think so. As someone asked a question about starting fast, that's just something we have to emphasize. We just have to play a complete game. Coach has talked about it. We haven't put a complete game together, and that's just something we really need to focus on. And it really just comes down to doing what you're supposed to do, because a lot of people try to do more than what they're asked, and that's when they mess up, and that's including myself. So we just gotta stick to what we're told. Our coaches aren't going to tell us or ask us to do something that we're not capable of, and that's just something we have to remember, in the game.
I'm assuming you're not surprised at how Max has handled himself at all.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I mean, so on my podcast, which came out yesterday, he was on there, and I applauded him for, because I've seen him play for 4 years, and every time something's gone bad, I've never seen him panic. I've never seen him complain, and that's just something I feel like that's carried over, over the years, and that's what's made him better, is because he doesn't make excuses. He's the first one to blame himself on, if it's a bad throw or let's say a receiver didn't catch the ball, it's always gonna, in his mind, it's always gonna be his fault, and that's just what you want from a quarterback. You want someone who's striving to get better, and that's just something I see in him. He plays so hard. I've never seen a quarterback take hits like him and just get up and walk it off. So that's something very encouraging as an offensive lineman.
Do you see the difference in the way this offense is built, the way it's kind of building on each week? It's kind of benefited him as well, knowing that he can just kind of progress week to week.
Yeah, and I feel like that comes down to trust. We've learned to trust each other, I guess, this off season. From our workouts, we're held accountable for everything we did. So if one person messed up, we all get in trouble for it. And I felt like that's translated over to the game, and I feel like that's what's helping us succeed.
Steve, what do you see out of their defensive line? Got a good defensive end, nose tackle, it's a big push, defensive tackle, what do you see?
They're very strong, I will say that. A lot of 19 has great length. I think they slant, here and there, and that's just something that's going to keep us on our P's and Q's. We just have to, stay focused on the things they do. Again, watch more film, do all the right things, and hopefully we'll come out and dominate.
How do you feel physically this year compared to this time last year?
I was telling someone asked me the same question earlier, and I was telling them I feel amazing. I've never felt better since the time I've been here. I don't know if it's because the nutrition or things we did in the off season, but I haven't really had anything that's like, oh my gosh, like this is gonna bug me for weeks. So that's a good thing to see, and I can tell that's the same thing for a lot of the players around here. So knock on wood, we haven't really had any injuries like we had last year or over the years, and that's a good thing to see. And the other part of that too is a lot of people are fighting this stuff. That those minor injuries, they're fighting that stuff, and that's just something encouraging to see. And that's what I say after a game, like, man, he really fought through that. And I'm just very proud, to be part of a team that's like that.
So you feel like you guys are in a good position here for the last one?
Oh yeah, we have 4 games left. Everything's flown by. Everybody's healthy, including myself. So I feel like that was a big difference from this year from last year. We had a lot of hurt people, and a lot of people had to step up. So yeah.
Are you allowing yourself to enjoy the success and the national attention that you guys are getting?
It's hard too, man, because I don't like getting up in the clouds, but it's hard to enjoy it because I was telling someone that we're just as beatable as anybody. No 8-0 team, it just has some crown of immunity to not getting beat, and that's the mindset I've just had. And just doing the stuff that we have been doing to get us to this point is what's helping us. So I'll be able to enjoy it, when we win a championship. That's what I'll say.
Steve, we talk about the talent, the running backs with Kendra and those guys. It seems like they're doing an awesome job in pass protection for their responsibilities, but also if you guys cut one loose, they'll stick their nose in there. Do you guys praise those running backs for helping?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had struggled with that at one game. I think it was after SMU, and we made it an emphasis, during practice to dedicate a period to have the running backs in practice blitzes, picking up blitzes. So I feel like that's shown up in the game, and it's just being communicative, communicating with the backs, pointing at who we have, them getting the call, them communicating where they're going to us. All that comes together. So I feel like that's helped us a lot.
Steve, TCU has broken several attendance records this year. What kind of impact does that energy have on you guys as a team?
It's actually insane. I mean, the student section is crazy, especially when the defense is on. I mean, because I don't think they're that loud when the offense is on, because that's just how things are, in this stadium. But when defense is on the field, they make so much noise. And I remember there's one game, I forgot what game it was. I couldn't hear the person that was next to me, and I was on the sideline. So I was like, man, this is insane. This environment. I'm sure it's tough for the other team, to handle. And I'm sure, I don't think fans notice this, but when there's so much noise on the field, they can actually knock the team off their tracks. Like, someone's not going to get something communicated if you're being that loud. So I think 2 years ago at Oklahoma, that stadium was so loud, I think we had 8 false starts. So that just goes to show that fans can have can actually play in the game, if you would say.
What'd you go as for Halloween?
I wore a Teletubby suit. I think his name is Tinky Winky or something like that. But it's the purple Teletubby. That's what I wore. Yeah.